Welcome
to the J&O Show,
where we talk about
has feminism tricked women out of what they really want?
Do you prefer chivalry or do you prefer equality?
Equality.
What about you?
I'm gonna agree.
What about yourself?
Equality.
Okay, so you said you in a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who paid for the first date?
Who paid for it? Him.
Yeah. Who paid for the second date?
It's been a while.
But what you think?
Probably him.
Interesting.
Who paid for the third date if you got a thing?
Probably him.
Okay, that's not equality.
You've used my logic against me.
How long would you take care of your man if he couldn't work anymore?
And be honest.
Like 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's not equality. What about you, Gigi?
I've done that before, so
But you
so
broke
I would
up
say
with the
like,
dude.
well, yeah. So I would say maybe like 3 months, honestly.
3 months. And what about you?
I say a year.
The ladies that said that you prefer equality over chivalry, your answers contradicted yourselves. And the fact that I have a timeline on it, that means that it's not equal because men, it's in our nature to provide for a woman forever. So even though you say one thing, which is like a politically correct answer, because the media right now is ruled by the crazy Dems and they socially constructed your mind to believe nonsense, but true deep down in your deepest part of your soul, you don't want equality.
Yeah, a lot of women are feminists until they have to pull out their wallet or pull out a gun to fight a war.
Yeah, I know we've talked about that before. I know you said several times, like,
we need to figure it out.
Do we really want equality? Is that what we really want? Or do we want, he said, chivalry?
Yeah.
Basically, I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Which one is it that you want? Because you can't have both.
Yeah.
The conversation needs to change, and we as women, I think, need to be realistic about what it is that we're asking for and ask for that. So I get why women would say equality, because of the whole reason why we have the feminist movement to begin with. Women wanted the ability to be able to have a say. They wanted voting rights, which of course, I think they should. They wanted to be able to, we, but I say they because this was before my time. They wanted to be able to work, to be able to go to work.
I don't know why you would fight for that, but okay.
They wanted,
no, actually, no. I'll take that back. I do understand why they would want that, the right to do that. I'll take that back.
If they're in purpose, I definitely understand that. Or just some people are not built to just be at home and taking care of the house. Some women, I think, because of how their mind is and the different things like that, they need to be able to do other things. So I get that, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I think the conversation or the narrative from women to men as far as what we want needs to change. It needs to be, okay, well, we want to be able to have certain freedoms. We don't want to be like, okay, well, no, you can't do that. Like, this is something only for men. Like, women cannot do this. Like, women, no, you can't vote, or you don't have the right to speak up and say anything or what have you. They don't want to be treated like children, I think is the best way to say it. Like, women don't want to be silenced in that regard. Women do not want to be told that we are lesser than. And I think that's a big part of the issue. Like, because you're a woman, you're lesser than. And we said this many times before, men and women have different roles. We are equal in the sense of our value to the creator is no different between men and women. We're all valuable in that aspect. The differences between men and women is the things that we are meant to do, the things that we are designed to do naturally. We've talked about the fact that men, the role for men, their innate nature basically is to provide. That is their role. That is their thing, provide and protect. And the role that women are more naturally suited for is to be able to nurture and take care of their husband, their children. Because to Cooley's point, when he asked the question, they said, what do you want? Do you want chivalry or you want equality? They all said equality. But then when he started saying things like, okay, well, you go on a date, who's paying for the date? You expect the guy to pay. That's not equality. Nope. So it's like, and I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly or not, but the conversation needs to change. It's not so much that we want equality across the board, because that's not what we're looking for. I don't think women, but I don't know. Then again, there may be some. Well,
not most,
but there may be a small select few that's what they want. They want equality across the board, but that's not really it. So we need to be able to articulate the things that it is that we actually want, because it's not equality, not 100%, not evenly across the board. Because if that's the case, then okay, You take out the trash. You go get the car taken care of. You pay for the, what I'm saying? We take turns paying for the date.
Yes.
You pay for these bills. I pay for these bills. But ladies, that's not what you want.
Nope.
You ain't trying to hear that?
Nope.
You don't want to hear from your man, okay, the oil change needs to be taken care of. You need to go handle that because I did it the last time. That is not what you want to hear. Okay, so let's be real about it. Okay, stop. Think about it. That's not what you want to hear. I think women need to stop being in these echo chambers where we hear these things like we want equality and this, that, and the third without stopping to really think about what that means, because you can't keep on saying, okay, well, we want equality across the board. But then when certain things come up, you're like, oh, well, no, I don't want that. So then that's not what you're asking for. We need to be very specific about the things that we're looking for. I think most women want to be treated like a lady. And I made a reference one time in a video and I was saying, like, when you think about back in the olden days, and when I say olden days, I'm thinking like, I don't know, maybe 20s, 30s, or what, 1930s, 1920s or 50s or 60s. Or I don't know. Anyway, back in the day when you would hear like men would take off their coat and put over a puddle of water so a woman wouldn't, walk over it. They would open doors all the time and, they would treat a woman like a lady. They would do things for them naturally because their femininity, their softness, their delicateness and all that, it kind of exuded from them. So they wanted to handle you with care. But nowadays, a lot of women, they don't exude that feminine qualities because you're exuding more of a masculine quality because you want to be equal. They're no longer handling you delicately or, in that nature.
All I'm going to say is me putting my coat over a puddle is crazy work. We could just walk around that joke. I might have paid good money for that coat. I ain't doing that. You must have lost your mind. I'm sitting here with this cashmere wool coat and I'm going to put it in the water so we going to walk around the puddle, girl.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
why,
all right.
I don't know that was that was
a thing though.
Why that
I used
was
to
a
hear
thing,
about it. But
you guys understand what I'm saying. You get the point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ain't got nothing to say. We can move on.
Okay.
So liberal women have once again shown us why they definitely should not be in charge of the country. They are absolutely deranged lunatics. And they're doing something called the 4B movement. Now, this started in South Korea because there you can actually divorce your wife if she becomes liberal. And that is the greatest gender gap that we are seeing in any Western country. It's across all Western countries.
That's deep.
Wow.
I've never heard that before.
Dang. I do know that the 4B movement came from South Korea, I think she said. But I also heard that there was another thing. I don't want to say just pressure, but maybe incentivize women to have children because they were having a fertility crisis in that country. So they were doing things to try to make women have more children. Mm-hmm. And the women were protesting it because, of course, they felt like it was infringing upon their autonomy to be forced to have children or to be pushed and I don't know how far it went. I don't know if it was just incentivizing or if it was literally trying to force. I don't know which one it is. But here's a thing to consider when you're thinking about an issue like that. And I know it's going to be hard for a lot of us over in Western countries to think about this. You got to think about somebody other than yourself. Yep. If your country is facing a fertility crisis, that's bad. Yep. You're talking about the collapse of the economy of the entire country. Y'all know all of those movies y'all be seeing, like the world ended and then this is what it looked like. This could be your country if everything collapses. You're talking fertility crisis. You're talking about not enough people to actually handle certain things. Mm-hmm. That means stuff ain't going to be getting handled. Depending on how bad that crisis is, you got to start thinking about that. And yes, the government going to push you to have some kids. And no, they're going to be like, no, it's not all about you right now. Like everything, we could lose everything. So you do have to think, but I don't know how far they might have been just taking it way too far, like trying to force them to have kids. But that's where it started. Let's see where it went.
All Western countries, but you see men there being extremely conservatives and women rushing towards head first into the wall of liberalism, I guess. And so with this 4B movement, they are refusing now to have sex with any men. They are shaving their heads, and even some are advocating to have hysterectomies, and they're not going to have children or raise children.
All I have to say is good luck getting laid. Especially in Florida, because me and my girlies are participating in the 4B movement. That's my next plan. And I'm dead serious.
Donald Trump is president, and I think all women should stop having sex for the next 4 years in protest and protection of your bodies. As we know, if that little baby inside you gives you any trouble and you need an emergency health care, you're f***ed, and you're gonna...
Why y'all be lying, though?
Because you're just lying to yourself.
That's all I want to know.
I wish people
so
would take the time to look stuff up. In an emergent situation, you're not going to be denied. Stop it. That doesn't even make sense. If it's an emergency situation and your life is at risk, just like anything else, any type of other medical emergency, it's going to be to save your life. So stop the narrative that, oh, if you're pregnant and something goes wrong or what have you, oh, well, to you, they're just going to let you die if it's between you and the kid.
I heard that there was a situation where a woman did die and the narrative was being pushed that the reason she died is because they refused her a TOP. That's what they call it, a termination of pregnancy. When you actually read into that particular situation, seemingly it turns out that the real issue was from the TOP drugs they gave her was what caused the complications that ended her life. So just in case somebody come in our comments and be like, somebody died and it was such and such and such a person. I heard about this case and that was actually untrue. But yes, what she said, like y'all being like overly dramatic to the max. Like
that's not what's happening. That's not the law. You know what's funny? While she was saying what she was saying, I was like, you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. Keep your legs closed. So that way we won't have to have these issues. Ooh. Okay?
You ain't got to worry about no TOPs if you're not getting impregnated.
You shouldn't be sleeping with people, period.
Okay.
Unless it's your husband.
I want to say this before I forget it. Emergent situations that are in case of some type of forced pregnancy, and situations where there was pregnancy inside the family. I'm trying to find different ways to say it. All of those things account for approximately 5%. All of them together. All of the stuff y'all talk about account for approximately 5% of the TOPs in the United States. The other 95% are because of contraception. So,
or lack thereof.
I'm not taking a position whether I'm for or against or anything right now. I'm just giving y'all the facts based on what people are saying. I want you guys to have the truth to make your own decision as to what you think about this issue. You make your own decision. But what I'm telling you is the things that people are sticking to, which happens in a lot of situations, is not the majority. It is the minority. And as far as the 4B movement is concerned, this was like a week old. They already talking about this. I don't got no problem with it because none of these people are married. So for me, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
You should do that.
We can watch some more of it so you can see what happened. I don't know if we even need to have any more commentary on it though.
Gonna die. I think that is sufficient enough reason to stop having sex. Don't you agree? This vote wasn't a vote for Americans. This vote was for men. And unless we want to become the handmaid's tale, then us women need to protest because this is some buttery bullshit. I'm sorry to the women and minorities who aren't going to get the help that they need in the next 4 years. I'm sorry for the people who are impoverished, who are just going to keep dying from starvation and lack of healthcare and lack of...
We need to know our place.
Look up the laws, y'all. Really. Go look it up and stop listening to people like this.
It ain't just that. I'm not the most well-versed person in politics, so I don't talk about it. I'm being honest. That ain't my area of expertise. I don't have 19 years of experience in politics. I got 19 years of experience being married. That's why I got a channel about being married.
Yes. Well,
if you don't really do politics, don't talk.
You know your role and shut your mouth.
Just be quiet.
Just be quiet. Some of y'all just don't need to be talking about stuff. Like, you need to know what you can and can't talk about. You've been working in the HR for 20 years. Go and do a podcast about HR. This ain't your lane. Just in case y'all wonder why we don't talk about certain things, if I'm not well educated in it, I try to keep my mouth shut. I'm going to just play the video out. We don't have to come back. Okay. So y'all can hear it. And I'll just watch it with her to get her reactions.
And lack of governmental support. People are actually praising this guy, and it's a freaking joke. Look at the states he won. You won't catch me there. You'll catch me in New York City. And I'm sorry to all the women who are going to suffer in these bumpkin, small little towns because of this. Reason why I'm a New Yorker and always will be. Florida.
I'm gonna be honest, I was very blindsided by the results this morning. I've decided that cigarettes don't count today, and I honestly might go get a tattoo. But I also have decided that for the next 4 years, I am going to abstain from schmex with men. And funny enough, I actually just broke up with my boyfriend a handful of days before the election, and it had nothing to do with the anticipation of Donald Trump winning this election. It had everything to do with problems within our relationship and massive differences between who we were as people, which was unfortunate and sad. I wish him well, though. But yeah, as a woman, my bodily autonomy matters, and this is my way to exercise sovereignty over that. So I highly encourage any other women that are...
I wasn't supposed to say anything else, but for those of you who are Christian, your body is not your own. Nope. So you can just skip everything she's saying.
And I was just going to say, for everybody who's hollering about their body autonomy and this, that, and the third, where was y'all during COVID?
Yikes.
Ooh.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
Because jokers was literally getting fired for not getting the jab. So where were y'all then? Where was my body, my choice then?
Oh, you know what else is your body, your choice? If you don't sleep with the guy in the first place, you don't need a TOP.
That part.
There you go.
So you can choose that, though. That's your bodily autonomy. Same thing for guys. Yeah. You can decide if you get someone pregnant. I know it's hard, though, because the walls call.
Yes, they do.
All of us.
You can say no, okay?
You can't say, it's hard to say no.
Listen, we just try to keep it real over here.
All right,
okay?
y'all.
Just tell the truth. That's all.
This is ridiculous.
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Yeah.
Also giving up on coloring his hair because, right? Coloring my hair, having my hair be long and luxurious, all that being skinny, being hot, being all the things that the patriarchy wants us to be. Because clearly, they don't give a shit about us. And I'm talking to you too. Those of you ladies who have the internalized misogyny required to be weighted. Minorities who are so scared of a woman in power that you'd rather cozy up to the white man just in case some crumbs fall off his plate so that you may eat from them. Yes, scraps. I don't know how to work this thing, but I'm on my way and figure it out.
Hey, everybody. Down in the description, there are 2 links.
One is to a GoFundMe, and the other one is to a video that explains what the GoFundMe is for. Long story short, we have a medical situation with our daughter that we have to pay for everything out of pocket, and we could really use you guys' help. If you have the time, we'd love for you to go check it out. If you have the money, the funds, we'd love for you guys to help. If not, maybe you could send a link to somebody else who can help. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Press the off button.